Just what we've been looking for.
By way of introduction, my name's Trax.
Welcome back to the Untitled Chapter. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with a review of the MS-25 Mechanic Studio MechFansToys Flywheel. This is their take on a G1S Trax in the Legends scale. I think it looks great. I think it works relatively well. It's got a lot of great points, a couple minor issues with it, but overall, it's an excellent figure for an excellent price. I did get mine at ShowZ. I'll leave a link where you can get yours. Let's talk about this guy coming up. It's simple, cheap box, yet interesting. Kind of just shows a lot of artwork there on the back. You can kind of see all the modes, what you can do with it. They keep the cost down. Still looks okay. So here he is in his alt mode and all of his accessories. As you can see, most of these accessories are for bot mode, but he does have his boombox, and I think we used the boombox in one episode in alt mode. Does have his gun, which we'll look at later a little bit better. The hoist goes to Hollywood head, and this piece here, we're going to use the guns. We're going to use all this, have a look at all that later. Really with this alt mode, we're going to use this, so we're going to take a look at that here in just a second. Now looking at the alt mode itself, it looks really good. It actually is a very nice looking blue and a very nice representation of a Corvette. Is it a Stingray? Anyway, I do like the paint that's right here. That's not a sticker, it is paint. There's a paint right there. There's a couple of imperfections in the plastic, kind of a swirling. I don't know if they wanted to look swirly or that's just an imperfection. They do have paint on the windshield, and I like that, and all the windows painted silver. The bottom is very clean, so it's a pretty good transformation, pretty clean. And then from the back, we do have some paint on the taillight, so pretty much exactly what you'd expect. I do like it. It doesn't really roll, though. I don't really roll mine around, so it's not a big deal to me. Now comparing it to a G1, now my G1, for some reason the legs don't stay closed. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong there, but it's almost the same size as a G1. It's just slightly smaller, so it's a Legends figure, and we know MechFansToys or Mechanic Studio is a bit on the plus side, but they're pretty close in size, so that's kind of interesting to me. I was surprised to see how close it was, seeing as a Legends versus G1, but there it goes with that. So here's how it compares to Iron Factory, Racing Bros, and a couple of different options here from New Age, so kind of get all this in perspective and see. That's kind of a comparison of some other companies. There it goes. Now to get it into its flight mode. So a couple things you got to do here. You want to pull these pieces here out, the wings, and so you're going to rotate this out on this ball joint here, and let's go ahead and get the other one out, and then we're going to position them. There's two different ways the instruction shows to position the arms, so we're going to do both and check this out. And I think the best one is going to be the first one, where we basically just connect the arms underneath like so. Then we're going to lift this up and connect the booster to here. So these notches, the booster is going to slide into these notches like this. Let's do it from this angle. There's the notches here and here, and we slide the booster in like this. There it goes. And we have his flight mode. And it's one of those things that we've always had in Trax. It's always been there. We've always had a flight mode, but it's kind of cool. Just something, we thought we'd have flying cars by now in 2021. We'd all be driving or flying cars, not just driving cars. But hey, I guess we could look forward to 2050 or something like that for that. So now there's another way to do this. You can disconnect this, and then you move this over and connect the hand to this peg. And that's another way to do it. So I don't know. I don't think that this is any better. I think it's actually cleaner looking the other way. I don't know why they show us all these ways to do this. But anyway, there's another way to do it. I think it's less clean, but it does kind of give it a more rounded look to it. Push that thing back in there. Still, it looks pretty cool. It's interesting that they included it, but there is a parse forming piece that might bother people. All right, so getting it transformed up, it's already partially transformed up. We'll just need to pop out this, remove these hands, pop that piece out, and since the arms are already out, we already have that done. We're going to disengage this and flip it around, put it to the back. Well, not really slide on, disconnect the legs. It actually doesn't slide like the G1s. Open these up, and then we're going to fold out this gray piece, and on both sides, and then we can proceed to pull it out like this. Now you got to get this flap here out while you're pulling it, and then you end up tabbing, if you can see it, this notch right here is going to tab into that. So there it goes. Pull the foot out, close this up, and then fold out the heel right there. So quite a bit going on a Legends transformation from a budget company, MechFansToys. Pretty great design. All right, we're going to do it on this side here, fold this out, open this up, and then fold that down in, tab this into place, fold this down. You got to get that foot out first, fold this down, fill that gap, get that heel out so it can stand. Then we need to rotate it around like so, and then we don't see his head yet, so we need to rotate all of this up. This section here, let's see if this piece here comes out. I'm going to rotate that up, and that brings his head out so you can see it. Folding this piece to the back, you do have to collapse these door pieces like that before you close this up, and they're going to come undone a lot, so it's not that big of a deal really, but you do want to collapse those door pieces. It's going to tab in, this is going to tab into there, so let's make that happen. So you connect this, you need to just have this looking like it's the back of the car, and then you got those two notches, and right here by my thumb, those are what plug in, and it's a simple little plug-in, but now the back came disconnected. So a couple of fiddly pieces to this, but not overall not bad, just harder to do on camera than it is. You also have to situate these arms and get them all in place, get the wings in place, and not a bad transformation, and considering he looks great in both modes, quite worthwhile. So let's take a look at this guy in his robot mode. Of course, the great blue that they use looks really good. I like it. The colors really pop, and he looks like he's got quite a bit more paint apps in bot mode that we didn't see at all in the alt mode. So looking at it, he does have this, which is the add-on piece, a little bit of paint right up there. His face is painted, his eyes are painted blue. It even looks like there's a little bit of orange, a little different color of orange. Maybe that's just the light reflecting off of it. He does have the yellow here, and he's got a lot of paint on the wings and accents. Then he's got his paint on his waist piece there. Nothing painted on. A lot of this is unpainted, just regular plastic, but there's paint down here. So it just looks pretty good, and it kind of breaks up any and all of the monotony with paint all over it. He is pretty clean overall. The back is pretty clean. The hood kind of shows through in the robot mode, but again, I don't display them from the back so much. And we know it's Legends, and Legends does get a bit of a pass. They're getting a pass on a ball joint on the elbow, which is kind of cheap engineering, and the mushroom peg is visible from the front, and there's just really no way around that, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there is a way around that. But there's ball. Most of this, what I see, it's pretty visible. You can probably manipulate it, and I can fiddle with it to make it where you don't see that. But anyhow, you're going to see something. You're going to see a pin. You're going to see a mushroom peg, no matter how you kind of do that. But those are the downsides. I mean, really minor downsides. It is a great looking figure. And let's get into articulation. The head does move side to side, and it's on a ball joint a bit. If you want to put the other alternate head on, this one here, you have to unscrew it. And it is a bit of a challenge. You'll have to lift this whole piece up and unscrew it to swap it out, which is, it seems like quite a bit of work to swap a head. Not worth it to me, really. Okay, you do have the shoulder joint has quite a bit, and you do have the 360. You do have the bicep swivel. You do have 90 at the elbow. It moves all around, and the hand moves. And of course, it's just a formed hand. You do have waist swivel, no ab crunch, not needed really. Little bit past the 90 right there on the ball joint. You have thigh swivel. You do have a 90 knee, and you do have toe articulation tilt, but it doesn't really tilt the whole foot. So, I mean, it cheats it for a look if you want it to look like this. And he has his blaster boombox in boombox mode, which is a cool accessory. I like it. It's got a lot of paint on it. Looks just like blaster. It's shining. It's good. You know, it's nice, and it's got to be able to plug in somewhere because it has that hole in it. But really cool. All right, so for comparison, here he is next to the Masterpiece Takara version. This is the official Takara, not the KO. I like the KO better when it comes to this guy. Let's go ahead and see what he looks like next to the G1. Now he's almost about the same size as the G1, so that is quite interesting to me that they're so close in size and scale, but the aesthetic, way better. Well, of course, on the new one. All right, let's see how he stacks up next to a couple other MechFansToys offerings. Let's move this matrix chain better. This is the MechFansToys KO oversize of Galvatron with a crazy looking matrix chain going on. Probably need to fix that a little bit. This is their version of Astro Train, so their own design and a knockoff oversized design. So that's what you get. They're doing some good work on their own. And here's how he scales with some of his Autobot brothers, and I have to say, some of these do not scale well. So that's all. But this is, I believe this is a MechFansToys version right here. And he's a little bit taller, but I kind of think Atrax is a little bit taller, but I don't think he should be taller than the Magic Square version of Trailbreaker. Perceptor, I don't really know, but this New Age, and I think that was Toy World, too small for it. This is MechFansToys, which of course, seems like anything MechFansToys makes, for the most part, scales well with itself. And there's a MechFansToys KO oversize over there. And this is Iron Factory right here. So aside from these guys, the rest scale almost well. Just I wish they would have upscaled this guy so we have this one in the MechFansToys scale. But I think the Prime still looks good with them. So all of it seems to be working relatively well, aside from the old New Age. I think New Age is a better scale. So this has been my look at the Mechanic Studio MS-25 Flywheel, subsidiary of MechFansToys. This is their own design. It's great, an excellent figure. I like it. It's gonna be my Trax, and I don't see any other companies making a Trax anytime soon for the Legends scale, and this is pretty much all I need. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Tadjir Manger out.
Yeah, get him, Blaster! Let me out. For obvious reasons, at least humans aren't sticking the muds.
Trax, where are you going?
Out for some invigorating city air. Stand back. Get in.
You're flying!
And on to the body shots.